All right, everyone. My name's Romy Swanson. I'm the executive director of the Devils River Conservancy, and I'm here to host the next session focusing on Texas, a state of wildlife. Our first speaker is Monica Morrison. Monica is a dear friend I've had the privilege of working with for over 3 years now. She is a firebrand of feline conservation, and Texas is lucky to have her. She serves as the executive director of the Texas Native Cats organization. Monica.
Thank you, Romy. By the way, it'll be 4 years next month.
4 years.
4 years. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating today in this amazing event. As Romy said, my name's Monica Morrison. I was inspired to help wildcats after a trip that I made to the Amazon many years ago. It was my first of several trips down there, and I realized that it was the home of jaguars, which to this day is still my favorite cat. That inspiration led me to become a volunteer at the Dallas Zoo. I was a tiger docent for several years and then moved on as a volunteer to 2 area big cat rescues. As a participant in overseas wildcat research projects, purely as a volunteer, I eventually determined that our cats right here in Texas needed help. And Texas Native Cats, a nonprofit, was born, which provides education, outreach, and advocacy for our 5 species of wild native cats. No, I'm not going to ask you to name them all. My talk today is about mountain lions, a controversial species. I imagine some of you here today may not know much about our apex predator, so just a little bit of background regarding this animal. It's a cat of many names. We call it mountain lion. It's also known as cougar, panther, painter, catamount, and the list goes on. It's all the same cat. It's a large cat, but not a true big cat, like a jaguar. It can't roar, but it can purr. It lives from the Yukon to the tip of South America in 28 different countries. It was driven from the eastern and midwestern sections of our country by the early settlers who often believed the only good predator was a dead one. And I have to tell you this heartbreaker, but there have been no confirmed sightings of black panthers. A few more bits about it, characteristics. Mostly it eats deer, but in Texas it also eats javelina, elk, feral hogs, how about that one, and other mammals. Males have much larger home ranges than females do throughout their range, and they also weigh more than the females do. The cat is 7 feet in length from the tip of its tail to the tip of its nose. In Texas, our mountain lion breeds all year long. And you're probably wondering at this point, perhaps, well, how many do we have in Texas? The answer? We don't know. Sincerely, nobody knows for sure in this state how many we have at this point. A bit about the 2 populations that we know we do have, West Texas and South Texas population. The West Texas, or the Trans-Pecos, is considered to be the stable population in the state. But that's largely due to an influx of cats from Mexico and New Mexico. Why is it considered stable? Because of this influx. However, trapping is very widespread in West Texas, and it is legal. The South Texas population, on the other hand, is considered unstable. When I say South Texas, I'm talking about from about Valverde County on down to the coast along the border area. That's our South Texas area. It's a fragmented population and habitat, and there is no connectivity to the West Texas population. Texas Parks and Wildlife considers them as threatened to imperiled, however, though as a non-game species, that's a key term here, they had, notice past tense, no protections. What threats are there? Lions are a threat, and if I say lions, believe me, it's just shorthand for, for saying mountain lions. Sorry, and I've got allergies too today. They are a threat to goats, sheep, and deer, but not typically cows or steers because those animals are just too large for them to kill. Humans, there have been no human deaths in Texas attributable to mountain lions. There have been a few attacks. However, there have been nothing fatal or any serious injuries. Livestock protection. So what kinds of things can be done to protect livestock from predators like mountain lions? Thank you. Livestock guard dogs and donkeys, other types of deterrents that are being developed, electric lighting, and maintain the toms. I say this last one because I heard that at a workshop several years ago, a mountain lion workshop, and a rancher there said, he was addressing the game and fish individuals that attended, if you will maintain the toms, they will police the young males that are dispersing, because it's those young males that haven't honed their hunting skills yet that cause so much of the depredation problems. Why do we want to conserve our mountain lion? It's the top of the food chain. Scientists call it a top-down regulator. Remember, it's our apex predator in this state. They help maintain the ecosystem's health and diversity. If you maintain the predators, you maintain the lesser species. They kill deer with chronic wasting disease, a fatal neurodegenerative disease much like mad cow disease, some of you may remember some years ago. But interestingly enough, the cats don't develop the disease themselves. And as a bonus, they kill feral hogs. Those animals are estimated to cost over $100 million in damages every year to the state of Texas. So, what can we do, or what has been done to this point in terms of trying to get some help for our mountain lion in Texas? Prior attempts to provide protections failed due to lack of support. There have been several of them over the years. Their current status is non-game. Non-game species in Texas means it has no protections, and it's not the only one. We have a host of animals in this category, including bobcats. There is no limit on the number that can be killed. Reporting of any mortality of mountain lions is voluntary at this point. Trapping is allowed, as I said, it's legal. We are only one of 2 states that allow trapping. The other is Utah. And I will say we are the only state that classifies this cat as non-game. In 2021, Texas Native Cats joined with a group called Texans for Mountain Lions, and Romy alluded to that a few minutes ago, as we all knew that changes for our lion were needed. We are comprised of wildlife biologists, landowners, hunters, and organizations like mine dedicated to Texas mountain lion conservation. Using science as our backbone, Texans for Mountain Lions submitted a petition to Texas Parks and Wildlife Department in 2022 requesting the following: conduct research, implement harvest, or what we would call mortality reporting for these cats. It is a linchpin to determine population abundance. Without harvest reporting, we'll never know the approximate abundance or numbers of cats we have. Ban canned hunting, which is the capture and later release of a mountain lion to be pursued and killed. Require 36-hour trap check times. Manage mountain lions by region and form an advisory group. The petition was denied, but Parks and Wildlife did proceed with requesting a stakeholder group to be convened, and this group met 5 times in 2023. A report was delivered to Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission, which makes the regulations for Texas Parks and Wildlife, in January of 2024, followed by 2 recommendations for change in March last year. On May 23rd, 2024, a day I will never forget, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission voted unanimously in favor of a ban on canned hunting and 36-hour trap check times. Understand that these are the first ever regulations in this state for this cat. It is an amazing feat. I will say also that 91% of individuals that were polled prior to the commission's decision were in favor of these changes. Over 7,500 people responded. What remains? Conduct research, implement mandatory harvest or mortality reporting, and manage by region. Manage by region is where we ultimately need to go. What can you do? You sign up for our newsletter at Texas Native Cats, watch our Facebook and Instagram platforms, volunteer with us, review Texas for Mountain Lions website to get all the information, Be informed. Watch for any future calls to action that may occur. Paraphrasing Morris Hornecker, world-renowned big cat and mountain lion expert, in order for lions to survive in meaningful numbers, science must take an active leadership role. Information must be communicated effectively to the public. An informed and motivated public can change government policies, influence political arguments, and literally alter the course of conservation. Thank you.